Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live author interview. We are actually waiting for Turid to join us. So while we are waiting for our author to join us, they are joining. She's joining actually from Norway, where it is 6 or 7 p.m. right now. So time zone differences are really challenging. But for everybody tuning in, I want to make sure that everyone feels welcome and knows that this is going to be an interactive discussion with our author. So I want you to leave comments. So to start off, let me know where you're joining from and how you heard about this free event, because we are always looking to improve the way to spread the word about opportunities like this. So go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And I also want to know, have you read Turid Rugaas's book on talking terms with dogs? I'm assuming that many of you who are here and tuning in have read this book. If you've read it, what did you think? We want to know, and we want to know here in the comments, but we also want to encourage you to write a review of the book. Going to dogwise.com and leaving a 5-star review really helps people decide what book they're going to read next. We do have lots of great reviews on this book. We have a lot of people actually who say that this is a book that they make sure that every one of their students in classes get. It's a book that they read again and again and again. It's a book that's just such a great reference. So I want to know if you've had that experience with this book. Has this book, like it has for me, kind of changed your life when it comes to reading books about dogs? Another thing that people talk about is in our reviews that we see a lot is this is a book that they give away and then have to buy a new copy of. So I want to know if you have read the book. It looks like we've got people who are tuning in from the Netherlands, have already read the book twice. Fabulous. And we also have, looks like some people on YouTube are tuning in, have read the book many times and have also recommended it to clients. And when starting your dog training journey, still the most recommended for your clients. That is fantastic. Lori, thank you so much for joining us from Minneapolis. Ingrid is joining from South Carolina. Heard on Facebook, read it and buy it for the classes that you teach. Ingrid, I'm curious to know if you buy the book and give it away to your class, or if it's something that you recommend as recommended reading. Mallory's joining from Memphis, Tennessee, and Sherbert Service Dogs was one of our first comments. So thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, I want to encourage you, if you have read the book, please do leave a review. If you're buying this book in bulk for your clients, I wanted to let you all know that all of the books at Dogwise have bulk discount rates if you buy more than 5 copies. So this is actually the pricing structure for this book. If you're going to buy 20 or 50 at a time, you can really make some great savings on this book if you buy those discounted prices. It looks like already donated several copies to local libraries. Fantastic. And Ingrid said we buy and give it away to students. That's wonderful. Another opportunity I want to let you guys know about while we're waiting for our interview to get started is that during this interview, if you ask a question, you could win a free audiobook. So we're going to be giving away 2 copies of Turid Rugaas's audiobook on talking terms with dogs. And all you have to do to be eligible to be entered into our audiobook giveaway is to leave a comment. So feel free to leave a comment and ask a question. We want, again, this to be an interactive experience. So be sure that you are doing that with us as we go along. One other thing that I want to tell you all, I'm glad that many of you heard about us on Facebook. We also have an Instagram page. Our Instagram handle is @dogwise.books. On our Instagram page and on our Facebook page, we share book quotes often. And these are, again, supposed to be something that are interactive opportunities for people to talk and discuss and see what they think about these quotes that we share from books and kind of get the discussion going. So one thing that we did on Instagram this week, and we didn't get a lot of feedback, so I wanted to invite you all to start this process with me, is we actually shared some videos. I found some videos. Those of you who have read this book know that we see a lot of videos of dogs on the internet, and we're seeing calming signals happening all the time. So I actually clipped some videos. I took some videos off the internet and I reshared them, and I asked, what calming signals do you see? But I didn't get a big response. So I'm going to share those video clips, and I want you guys to leave some comments and tell me what calming signals you see in these videos. Also, let me know if the video is playing. It should not have sound. I'm gonna play the video one more time. Go ahead and put a comment in and let me know what calming signals you observe in this golden retriever puppy. This is another video of two corgis. Go ahead and put your comments and let me know what you see of this two body language between these two dogs. I'm going to play it a couple of times for you. Yeah, so we've got lip lick, blinking, head turn, lowered head. Oh, this one looks like this might be comments from the golden retriever puppy. These corgi puppies, not puppies, these corgi dogs are having these calming signals between them. The caption of this video says, "This is Cherry. Cherry loves his personal space. This is Shortstop. Shortstop also loves Cherry's personal space." And we see these things happening, these conversations that are happening with the dogs as they're interacting with each other. And again, we see these videos online all the time. These are things that unfortunately we see these happening where people think this is a funny video, this is a funny interaction with a dog. I'm not actually going to share the other video that I posted. It was a video of a kid, a very small kid that was climbing on a golden retriever, trying to golden retriever, and it was something that was it actually elicited some stress signals in me watching, and I know that many of you have also seen those videos online where people think it's a cute video, but actually the dog is asking for some space or asking for some distance. We've got turning head to the side, licking head, going down, snuggles, brown dog turning his head away. Yeah. So you guys already know a lot about calming signals. You know how to recognize them. And I want to know, is this something that you see online as well? Is this something that makes you concerned when you see something online? And as we watch this next video, this is not one that was online. This is actually just a stock video of a dog. So let me know what you see in this short clip. Our perceptions of dogs with our own history and our own learning history, right? Yeah, Heather said right here, it depends on the context. It totally does. This dog could be blinking because the sun's in their eyes. We're not really sure. Looks like the Aussie looks relaxed, grin at the corner of the mouth, turning head and eyes squinting. Yes. All right. I've got one more that I want to show you guys, and then we're actually going to jump into some video that's actually from Turid's DVD, accompanying DVD that comes with if you get the DVD and book set. So I'm going to let you guys watch some of that. But right now I want to see what you guys think of this dog. A lot of body language going on here. So let me know what you see. I'm going to play it again. Definitely trying to get some space. I agree. Mallory says licking, head turning away, backing up, ears alert. Turning head away, lip licking, not asking for more. And the person continues to pet the dog, right? I think that so many times we see people who don't know how to interpret these calming signals. And I think it's important for people to know what they're looking at. So again, I'm really glad that you guys are here and able to join us today to discuss what we're seeing in these dogs with their stressed behavior. So I am going to go ahead and play a short video clip from Turid's video. I'm going to send her another email. I am wondering if our time zones got crossed and maybe she is going to be joining shortly. If she is going to join shortly, we'll either end this live and start a new one, or we can just stay on and talk for a little while we are waiting for her. But while we're waiting, I'm going to play a video. Like I said, this is from her DVD. And I want you guys to let me know what you think of this little video clip that we're going to watch together.
When two dogs see each other, signals start to flow between them, whatever the distance is. These two dogs are slowing down, stopping up, sniffing, looking away, licking, curving, and finally feeling comfortable with each other, getting closer, but avoiding frontal contact, the schnauzer licking.
So did you see all of the things that she mentioned in that video as it was playing live? There's so many things that are going on and happening all at once. I actually missed the schnauzer licking until I watched it the second time. So again, I'm going to play it through for you one more time.
When two dogs see each other, signals start to flow between them, whatever the distance is. These two dogs are slowing down, stopping up, sniffing, looking away, licking, curving, and finally feeling comfortable with each other, getting closer, but avoiding frontal contact, the schnauzer licking.
I love this. Like you said, such a good interaction between these two dogs. I agree. I think that watching these dogs doing that curving and coming in and slowing down, something I actually don't know that she mentions is at the very, very end, they both sniff the ground. So that's something that shows up in our dog to dog interactions. And sometimes it shows up with dog to human interactions as well, having that displacement behavior, something that, of course, dogs sniff all the time, but using that as a signal to each other or to us does seem to be something that dogs utilize maybe more often than we even recognize. Oh, got a good comment here. Fantastic. I'm going to play the video one more time. Schnauzer is still not entirely comfortable until the end, high tail and stiff neck. Really good observation there, Krishna. Yeah, it's really not until that sniffing starts. And of course, the tail carriage matters on different dogs. Different breeds are going to have different tail carriage, but agreed that there's that high stiff tail, stiff wagging tail that lets you know that the Schnauzer is not entirely comfortable with this interaction. We'll watch this one more time and see if anyone else has any other comments. Cricket says, agreed. I think the longer hair dog does a nice modulation by turning and moving away. And I think that if you've read Turid's book, that's the point, right? The point of a calming signal or of a cutoff signal is to say, you're too much, you're coming in too hot, or this interaction is too intense for me, and I need a break. I need to slow down a little bit. And I need you to give me some space. Yeah, there's a lip lick there at the end from the Schnauzer. Even this, I would love to know what you guys, as you're watching, think about this. That stiff slowing down movement. So Turid does talk about this in her book, that slowing down, especially with male dogs, is a calming signal, is a way that they do say, like, hey, I'm not as much of a threat. But we've also seen dog body language where coming in and that hard stare does feel threatening. What do you guys make of this, the white and brown fluffy dog that's moving slowly right there, you see, but then freezing? Does that look like an escalation, or like that dog is trying to communicate that he's not a threat? What are your thoughts? I have some wonderful news, everyone. Turid is here. She just joined. So I'm so glad that she's here. I think we may have gotten our time zones crossed a little bit, but she's here. I'm going to invite her in. Turid,
Yep.
we're so excited to see you. Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm okay, thank you. More or less. Okay. So this front page is very unusual. So if you have to guide me through it, if there's anything I need to do.
Absolutely. So we are already live. We've got about 40 people who are watching, and they're asking questions and giving us some comments. I already did all of our housekeeping things. We actually were just watching a video clip from the DVD. So I'm going to play that clip so that you can watch it with us. And then I want people to know that you're here. And if they've got questions for you, they can ask the questions. I will actually facilitate and moderate those questions. So if someone asks a question, I'll put it up on the screen and I'll read it for you. But just to get started, let's watch this video together one more time, since we're all here.
When two dogs see each other, signals start to flow between them, whatever the distance is. These two dogs are slowing down, stopping up, sniffing, looking away, licking, curving, and finally feeling comfortable with each other, getting closer, but avoiding frontal contact, the Schnauzer licking.
Great. So we watched that video clip and we had a couple of comments, including that it looked like the Schnauzer was not totally comfortable until the end. There was still a high tail and stiff neck. And then it looked like we had unclear that the Schnauzer was offering curving, and then there's a play bow from the longer haired dog. We were starting to have a conversation about how the white fluffy dog comes in at the beginning and does that slow movement, but then also actually offers a freeze. And if that, to the people right there, to the people watching, if that looked like it was more of an aggressive or if it was a calming signal. And how do you know? So how do you know if it's a calming signal?
This is very, very simple. These two dogs are greeting each other the most polite way that dogs can do. There's nothing wrong about anything they do. They are comfortable. They are understanding each other. They are saying hello to each other in a perfect way. And that is how it should be. This is a beautiful greeting ceremony by two dogs who know what they are doing. Uh, and when somebody mentioned tail, that is one of the things that is so wrong of people, because the tail and ears and hackles don't say anything about any greeting or any polite behavior. It is things that happen automatically in the body and they cannot steer it at all. It is just like when we are, for instance, blushing. You cannot stop it, you cannot steer it, you cannot tell the blushing to be more or less. And they cannot do that with either of those things either. So when you are observing dogs, you should not look at tails and ears and hackles, because it's the other signals, the ones they use uh, on purpose and for being polite. That's what you should concentrate on, because they are the ones who will tell you what the dog is feeling and what he is actually doing.
I really like that example of blushing. I've heard that piloerection, the hackles, is something that can be compared to getting goosebumps. It's something that's automatic that we don't always control. And I really
Yep.
liked what you said about how that really, it's what they're saying with their intentional body than with the rest of it, some of those
Yeah.
more automatic
The,
responses.
the calming signals are the ones they use for communication, for talking with each other, and for being polite first and foremost. Dogs are extremely polite. And if people would be just as polite with each other, we wouldn't have any wars.
Wouldn't that be nice? We've got a couple of people who want to let you know we love you. You're brilliant, Turid. We're so excited that you're here. Again, people who are tuning in, please do ask questions if you've got them. Turid, we had a question online earlier this week. What is the difference between a calming signal and a cutoff signal? Could you share with our audience?
Oh, they're totally different. What you call cutoff signals is what we call distance creating signals, because they a little move forward to get them move back. And also it can be, for instance, barking. Those are meant to keep others away. Uh, Cutting off, it's nothing that really cuts off, but they use the calming signals to behave better. That means if a dog is being impolite and another dog start to show calming signals, they expect the impolite dog to start behaving a little better. So not to cut them off, but to start communicating better, being more polite, and answering when somebody says something. There are many terms out there, and people seem to uh, invent a new terminology all the time. I'm not so keen on all these words. They are used too much and is too limited in what they are meant to mean. And dogs are not very limited. They are very open about things, and they can use the signals in many different ways. It's so fascinating. And that is what brought me into the subject in the first part, because I had admired all these ways they are communicating all my life and found it so fascinating. And that turned into this big study that we did in the end.
That's usually a question I ask my authors right away, but since this book is so well known and it's been published for years, how did this book come about? How did this become an idea in your head, and now it's a book that most people all around the world who are professional dog professionals have heard of? How did this come to be, Turid? Tell us about that
You
study.
know, it try read
Looks like,
some of the old books,
oh,
and
Turid,
all the books
we
told
got
us that
we got
that
frozen for a
wolves,
minute. Could you start that again? I'm sorry, the video looks like it might have
yeah,
cut out.
okay.
Yeah.
We had to read books at the instructor school I went to 35 years ago, and actually, the books were old. We didn't have so much as we have today, and now we have too many. But sorry, dog voice, but it's
Yeah, don't
true.
say that. That's not good for business for us. There's no such thing as too many books. Look, Sonia even
Yeah,
said, look at that
but
bookshelf. Wow.
but in those books it said that wolves, they have something they called aggression calming signals, but dogs didn't have it. And then turned on my fuses because I knew that dogs were showing some of it, but I hadn't been studying it really carefully, but I knew they had it. So I just said, no, that's not true. Dogs have it. And nobody believed me, but one of the other students, he came up to me and said, Turid, should we do a study? And so we started a 2-year-long study. We were filming, observing thousands of dogs. We have buckets of films. We have buckets of notes about it. And in the end, we sat there and we knew we had found something real valuable. And we put it down and made a talk out of it. We tried to have a presentation to people. Nobody believed any of it. And then I went to Canada to the big human animal bond or something. That's a conference I had there. And I spoke up against something I didn't believe in there either. I'm very good at that, actually. So, so people got interested in what I meant about it. What did I mean about that? Dogs uh, had communication skills, that they were talking to each other. What did I mean by that? And I came in connection with a few of the trainers there, and actually, it was your own Terry Ryan. She more or less forced me to write the book. I didn't believe it was any idea of doing it because nobody was interested in it. But as soon as the book was there and out, things changed. And since then, the first book was out in 96.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it was in English, the first one, because of Terry Ryan. And then it took off. It really took off. And I've seen everywhere. It's been on bestseller lists in many countries many times. Also in the US. So it took off, and it seemed to be interesting for people, and they started to believe in it. They started to see it themselves. There are a lot of people who misunderstand quite a few things about it, but it's been common knowledge today. And a couple of years ago, there was a person coming up to me and said, "Do you know, Turid, have you heard about something very interesting? Have you heard about calming signals?" And I just said, "Yes, I have actually."
That's pretty
I like
funny.
that. I like that because if they don't even know where the word come from, I'm happy. That's good.
That's wonderful. I know that this book has made a huge difference in people's lives. I personally think if every person who even saw a dog, owned a dog, knew a dog, read this book, I think all dogs' lives would be so vastly improved. I have a personal mission to get this book into the hands of as many people as possible. And that's not just because I work for Dogwise. I really do think that this is a book that everyone should read. And I know that a lot of the people who are tuning in feel that same way and share this book with their clients. They buy copies and then give it away or give it to classes and students. And I think
Yeah.
it's just such an invaluable resource.
I think it's fabulous that it still is being used around the world. I think it's so beautiful. I'm so happy about that. I let myself be forced into writing it in the first
Me
place.
too. Me too. What's the most
Mm.
common misconception? You say that sometimes people don't understand exactly what the book means or what it's talking about. What's the most common misconception that you get
Well, what
from?
I come across, not so much here in Europe, but other places, is that you can teach a dog to use calming signals. You cannot do that. It's the same as if I should teach you to speak Norwegian. For what purpose? What should you use it for? And it will be wrong because it's not a language you will use.
Mm,
And dogs have their own language and they know the language. We can never be good at it, and we shouldn't try to make a dog do it on command. Never. That is so unfair and so wrong. So that is one of the cases and there are also quite a few actually, to think that if a dog is using a calming signal, they are scared and they are hysterical or something. That is also very, very wrong. They use these calming signals, the one we saw in the film there, as a greeting, saying,
mm.
"Hello, good morning, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Should we be friends, maybe?" And doing it a very nice and beautiful way. That is so beautiful, and they are so good at using it. So then don't mess it up with fear and whatever they think it is. It's nothing to do with it. I heard something beautiful the other day. It was a Buddhist monk who talked about the play bow, and
Mhm.
he said, it's like namaste. And that is so right, and it's so beautifully said, because that is exactly what it is. A beautiful way of communicating.
A good greeting. I have definitely seen a lot of interpretations of dogs that are displaying stress signals or displaying calming signals that are now being called stress signals. And I've
Mm.
heard you say there's a difference between cutoff signals and calming signals. Would you say that a calming signal is a sign of stress, or I'm hearing you say that it can also be used as a greeting?
It
So,
can be, but in the beginning it's very low. I'm talking about a stress escalation ladder,
mhm.
and at the bottom you will get first at an encounter you will first use these calming signals to be polite. When stress is also going up, you might get some more calming signals because then they have to communicate more
Mm.
to evolve this situation that's coming up. So it's not a direct sign of stress, a stress signal is not, but it can come when stress is going up because then they have to do more to solve that situation.
Is it always an attempt to de-escalate, or is it just an attempt to get more information or send more information to the other dog or other animal that they're communicating with?
Um, that's a very tricky question because when a situation needs more of anything, that means also that the stress level is going up.
Hmm.
Every time a situation is demanding a little more than absolutely common, then the stress level gets up a little. And we know that because my students have been taking the pulse measurement of dogs in different situations, and as soon as a dog gets, what was that? Pulse goes up. And it can just be for curiosity or, wow, what was that? And still the pulse goes up. So everything that happens that is a little bit more than normal, like me sitting here at this table, if, for instance, there was a noise outside, boing, you can believe my stress level would go up as well.
Yes.
So everything happening, the stress level goes up a little more, and maybe a lot. And then they will use more signals to try to solve this situation.
There is a quote in the book that I pulled out because I wanted to make sure that we got to look at this and talk about this a little bit. On page 50, you talk about how dogs get stressed for the same reasons that we do. And then what happens when they start to get stressed, and that they can show it in many ways. So this is a direct quote from the book that is talking and referencing what you were just saying, where they're using calming signals to try to ease the stress. So knowing what the calming signals are help us to see when a dog starts to feel stressed. Now, my question to you is, if a dog is using calming signals to try to ease the stress, are they trying to ease their own stress or the stress of the situation or the conversation they're having with the other dog or human?
Do you know something? We don't know. Because we have to ask the dogs about that, and they cannot tell us in a clear enough way what they actually feel, what they actually mean. We have to guess a little because
Okay.
we are not knowing their language well enough. We are walking and taking care of some dogs now and then, just because I don't have a private dog anymore. That's what we do for fun. And one of the dogs we are looking after, when he gets a little stressed, you can see a little change in the behavior. And it is so interesting to see how dogs can handle it in different ways. And I think the most important is that people stop commanding and having control of the dog all the time, because that way they get much more unsure and don't know exactly what to do. They have problems in seeing the situation correct enough. A dog that has much more freedom in what to do, can choose things to do, have the choice of sniffing here, looking there, being more free in everything. He will be much more confident and so sure about what he's doing. One of the little dogs we are taking out a year ago, he was very unsure and started easily barking at other dogs, and didn't really know what to do. If they came too close, he would go away, stuff like that. We have given him so much freedom in looking, deciding what to do. If he wanted to stop and just see what's going on, he was allowed to do that. Sniffing, finding out about things by himself. Today, he is so good. He meets another dog in the street and he just looks at him and says, do I want to be friends? No, I don't think so. I think I just walk away. And other times he will go up to them and say, hello, I want to be your friend. And you see this difference in what he's doing all the time, so self-confident, because he had the chance of not being controlled in everything he does. I must say, and I'm sorry to say it, but I say it anyway, that in US there is much, much more control and commanding and absolutely no freedom for dogs what to do than it is over here. And that is one of the things I think is sad to look at.
I agree. I think that I recently had a conversation with some other authors, the authors of Canine Enrichment for the Real World. They were talking about how they define agency as the choice of two or more desirable outcomes. So, giving a
Mm.
choice where there's something that the dog wants and something they don't want isn't really a choice. And how important it is to give dogs agency when it is safe to do so, when it's not in necessarily a training environment, but giving some more free options. And I really agree with what you said, that that can do wonders to build self-confidence in a dog.
Mm. I have been a lot to many countries in the world, and many times to the US, many times to Canada. And I must say that one of the things I most often say to my students there is shut up.
I like that. Yeah. I think I see a
Yeah,
lot of dogs being really micromanaged. You know, their lives are so short, so controlled
yeah,
all the time. And if they don't have
yeah.
the opportunity to make those choices, they don't have that opportunity like that small
And
dog.
you can see it very clearly on them. They don't dare to do anything by themselves. And I think that's a shame, because if people are living in such a way that they don't dare to do anything, we know about marriages like that. We know about especially in the old times, kids lived like that.
Mhm.
They get problems later in life. They get nervous problems. They get really physical problems, because we all need to have some kind of freedom to do and explore and learn about the world around us.
I
We
agree.
really do.
We've got a comment that came in that said, yes, the US is very much about obedience, unfortunately. And we do see
Oh
that
yeah, yeah,
happening a lot,
yeah.
that there's such an emphasis on obedience. And that comes out,
Mm.
unfortunately, in a lot of the dog training that we see. So it is interesting to see that, and to hear about the difference between how it is here versus how it is in Europe.
Yeah, yeah. So let's hope that things will change in the future. As I said, there are too many books out there, but maybe not when I think about it, because we need some books about how to let dogs have freedom to grow and develop properly, as they do in the wild. Because wild animals, they know what to do, and they know how to do it, and they know how to survive. Our dogs get so closed up that if we let any of them out in the world, not many of them would survive at all. They can't.
We've got a comment that says, I see this so much in service dogs where each step is micromanaged, over encouraging curiosity and understanding our dogs. Yes, I
Yeah,
agree,
yeah,
with service dogs, that is very common, especially in service dogs. And I think
yeah.
that go ahead.
And when I see service dogs and guide dogs even more, they are completely destroyed physically and mentally at the age of 5 or 6, which is, uh, I would say, it is actually animal abuse.
Mm,
Because an animal shouldn't be destroyed completely at that age.
yes.
They are depressive to a very, very bad degree, and physically too, because they're not allowed to move properly. To develop and be healthy, we need to move in different ways, and dogs need it absolutely. What we have over here now, which is growing up like some wildflowers, is places where, if all fenced in, big places where one dog at a time can run free and do whatever they want to, and feel the freedom of moving uh, in different ways. I have a training center. We have a place like that too. And it's such a pleasure to see how they learn to move, how they learn to do things, and how they are brightening up when they have the freedom to do so. And all this is quite funny, because Some people, the owners of the dogs, say, I think we have to go now, but I don't know how to get him to come. I said, don't worry, go to the gate and your dog will come. No, 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 he will never do that. And they go to the gate and the dog is coming every time. Dogs are smart. Dogs understand what we are showing with our bodies. Instead of standing there screaming, come, come,
Mm,
come, which nobody would like to come to. Go to the gate and the dog will come because you show with your body what you are doing. So we can use our body language as well by talking to the dogs, showing what we want to. I hardly ever say anything to a dog, but I can show with my body what I want. And turn and walk another way, and the dog will follow. That's how it is.
and
I
that's
wish
what you say.
everybody would find out about this and try it yourself. Trust your dogs. I trusted my dogs 200 percentage and it
Absolutely.
never failed. Never.
I know that you say that in the book, and it was a quote actually that we had shared on our social media that we are not as good at as the dogs are. We're not as good at the communication, but we can understand more about what they're telling us. And
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
something that you really drive home in this book is the idea of continuing to learn and observe and understanding that dogs, like you said, dogs have their own language. They know their language, and it's up to
Yeah. Yeah.
us to be respectful and learn that language. We did have a question. Sarah Colnize wants to know: are dogs allowed to walk off leash where you live, Turid? So you had mentioned that kind of
You
big.
know, there's little differences here and there in some part of the when the wildlife has kids and stuff, we have to have them on leash. And most of the winter half from I think it is August till April, in most places they can be off leash. Uh, Except when in some cases they are extreme with snow, so we shouldn't disturb wildlife by chasing because dogs do chase. Yeah, yes, they do. So it's a little difference there, but for the period of the year where they have to be on leash, we do have a lot of these fenced-in areas where they can run free, and that helps a lot because freedom of movement is so important for us and for dogs.
That is so true. I have a question for you. And again, I want to encourage our audience, if you have questions, put them in the comments and we'll ask them. We want this to be interactive, an interactive session. This is a page from the very beginning of the book where you're talking about how to identify calming signals and use them. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned that you have buckets of research and buckets of film of dogs interacting. How did the research come about, and how did you kind of prove that these calming signals were what you thought they were?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who ask that, and it was first and foremost during the 2 year study I did with my colleague that we were taking notes about all kind of encounters, all kind of situations with dogs, and we observed thousands of dogs in those 2 years. And when you have meeting situations between two dogs and they use the same turning of the head, mostly curving and so on, slowing down, you see it every time, then you know it is what they are doing. And then, of course, after this 2 year study, we went on, particularly I did. He did not so much, but I did. And I've seen it in tens of thousands of dogs. And then you know. It's a matter of observing, taking notes, and learning from what the dogs are telling us.
That is such a great answer of observing and taking notes and learning from what the dogs are telling you. Sarah had a follow-up question, but before she said that, she said, it's so true, trust your dog. And I'm guessing as you were doing this research, the more and more that you saw these same patterns, at some point you just have to trust what the dog is telling you.
You know, I am very lucky because I don't have many talents in my life, but I was born an observer. And I started observing animals when I was 3 years old, and I've done it all my life. That's what I basically do. And of course, that helps me a lot when I am doing it on purpose for something I want to see. And other people might have to struggle more to be good at observing things. But I do have some specialist classes running where I teach people to observe. And they seem to be happy about it, and they seem to learn a lot about it, which is good. Everybody can learn if they really go for it.
Do you teach those classes in person or online?
No, it's online. I cannot travel anymore, so it's online. I use a lot. We use a lot of films and counting. Oh, you have no idea how much you can count. And they seem to learn very well by it, so I suppose it does its trick.
The book talks about developing your observational skills at home with other dogs. Pick one calming signal and look just for that one. So the book also has some great tips in there. If you're not able to do an online class with Turid, although I think we would probably all like to do that, the book does have some great input there as well. We have a follow-up question from Sarah, who was asking about dogs being off leash. Does Turid think that the high rate of reactivity in dogs here is partly because they are so confined by leash laws?
No, I don't think so. I think it's the way that people use the leash and the way that people treat their dogs when they walk them, and also the way they walk. We had my daughter and I have started a study. We are not finished with it, but we have done some research till now, and it looks like that most reactivity in dogs comes from the fact that people walk too fast and too straight on, and also in many cases too far. At least here, people walk them too much. But walking them too fast is the biggest problem because they get so tense and the muscles start to ache and they have pain here and pain there. And then they start to react to things because that's the only way they can get out their frustration. So, what we are doing now is having a big campaign going on people walk slower. Look at the length of your dog's legs, and you have to adjust to how short they are and how short their steps are. It is totally necessary. Um, I have a PowerPoint, and sorry I can't use the pictures here, but recently I also had myself walk a huge Caucasian with very long legs, but still they are not as long as my legs. And
That's
I'm
true.
not big. I have short legs, really. The only the only animal that we walk that has legs long enough is a horse.
Mhm.
So if you really want to walk as fast as many people do, most people actually, get a horse and walk with them instead. Otherwise, you have to slow down.
I
It
think
is
that
torture for many dogs to struggle with all their might to follow somebody who walks so much faster than they actually can do.
We've seen an increase in an effort to have people slow down with their dogs and allow them the opportunity to sniff. That's something that we are starting to
Okay.
see more and more.
Oh, that's great. I'm happy to hear that.
That's definitely something we're seeing more of. What would you say to people who I've always been told the reason that dogs pull on a leash is because they walk faster than we do, but you're talking about a dog with shorter legs pulling on a leash. What would be your response to that?
A dog pulling has learned to do it because you have started to walk too fast, and then it becomes a bad habit. They think it has to be like that, and they walk ahead because there's nothing else to do. So,
Mm.
first point, slow down so much that the dog actually starts sniffing. And if he uses the whole walk, sniffing, sniffing, looking, and using his senses to explore the world, that's the best. Sometimes I sent out somebody to walk my German Shepherd, and she came back and said, we didn't get more than 50 meters down the road because he had to sniff so much. I said, that's brilliant, because that is what making him happy. And that's what he needs. And that's make them relaxed. They learn about the world. They feel good about it.
That's wonderful. I think we all want to go take our dogs for a slow walk when this is over.
Oh, yes, yes. Do that. And I guarantee you, you will maybe not right away because it's unusual for both you and the dog in the beginning, but he will get it. Oh, believe me. And you will see a different dog. And then you have a dog who absolutely never pull. And if he starts to go forward, just turn and walk another way. And he will also turn because he will follow your movement.
Turid has a
It is
wonderful
so
book
easy.
that is called My Dog Pulls, What Do I Do? And I've read it. I've even read it recently, and now it's an audiobook and you can listen to it while you're walking your dog. I highly
Mm.
recommend that. It's available on Dogwise.
And do you know something? I'm not so happy about that book anymore because we have
Really?
gone further and we don't use treats anymore. Absolutely no treats because they get too occupied with your pocket and or wherever you have your treats. And that is not what we want. Leave the treats at home. So I wish I could rearrange that book a little because
It
that's
sounds
not
like
exactly.
maybe
Yeah.
we need to do a second edition. It sounds like we're going to have to talk after
I
this.
would like to do that. I would like to do that. Absolutely.
Sonia left a
So
comment and said, it's amazing when you take a pulling dog, often anxious, and slow down and they start to sniff as if noticing the smells and the ground for the first time. That is such an incredible thing to notice when you're on a walk with a dog and they're
yeah,
really starting to enjoy that. Barbara
yeah,
said that she sees many people running their dogs while they're riding bikes. I have seen that too. I think that
that
the
is
purpose of
terrible. That's terrible.
I think
That would make it really because they're not allowed.
it looks like we might be frozen again. I'm not sure if you can let us know in the comments if we've got some frozen audio and video. We'll see if we come back.
It's
Oh,
great to see so many good comments. That's great.
yes, we do. We have great comments coming in. It sounded like you froze for a little bit there. Can you say what you said again about people who are running their dogs and not having that freedom of movement?
I can't remember what I said, but if I try to think again, I can say that running beside a bicycle or a jogger makes a dog really feeling bad because all they want is to explore the world around them, and they are not allowed to sniff or anything, and they feel bad about it. And in addition, it's not good for their physical health either. They will get injuries because they are not meant to run straight ahead.
Yes, and I think hearing you talk about those wide open spaces that are fenced in where you live, where a dog can come and have that freedom of movement, sounds like a dream. You were talking about earlier. You mentioned that we can't train our dogs to give these calming signals, but one of the things that you talk about is yawning. I have a video clip for us to watch, and then I have a
Yeah.
question.
Uh, yeah, I know about it. I have used it occasionally, but it's not something I would use a lot. It's just in some cases uh, that I know of that I didn't have many options. I had to just be a little creative. Uh, I wouldn't use it so much because we don't know exactly how to do that right. Just like when people go around howling, I mean, God knows what they're actually saying. They can actually howl for a mate to make puppies with or something. Who would like to do that? I mean, honestly, we don't know exactly how to do it right. So at that time, I were a little bit more open to it. I'm not so much now.
That's good to know. I think that there are I've heard different approaches of like offering dogs calming signals, like licking your lips or yawning. But I think what is most common with humans is a kind of a turning away or letting the dog kind of come near you or not leaning over them, maybe. But what would be the like reciprocity for calming signals? Your advice for that? Should we offer them to
Yeah,
dogs?
yeah, yeah. When you meet a dog, when I come into a room and there's a dog there, I immediately turn my head a little and slow down because the speed is very important to dogs. If you are fast, they get a little alert. If you slow down, they relax. So I turn my head and slow down, and if I'm going in the direction of the dog, I do a little curve. And that will be the most important things you can do because that will be the polite greeting signals, and you showing that you are having some respect for that dog. So that's what I would do.
It's good advice. Another thing that I wanted to bring up, there's another quote in the book on page 36 where you say, a wagging tail is not always a sign of happiness. In order to interpret it properly, you need to look at the whole dog. If the dog is crawling towards you, whining or peeing, the wagging tail is like a white flag trying to make you calm down. And your dog will use it when you've lost your temper. He'll be trying to make you calm down and be nice again.
Yeah, and I must say that I would say it a little different today, maybe because we know now very clearly that the dog is using his tail for wagging when the stress level goes up, whether it is for fear or happiness or whatever it is, and he cannot steer that. He so it I don't think he can use it to try to make you calm down. And we thought at that time that was so. I don't think so anymore. He doesn't really, he cannot really steer it.
I'm glad to hear you're, discussing that you've been doing this research. Like you said, the first edition of this book came out in 1996, 1997, and
Mhm.
it's been 30
Mhm.
years. And you've learned since then, and there's more that you
Yep.
are now saying, like you would interpret that a little differently now, or you might give a little bit different advice. So I love when, especially an author, but anyone who's learning and learning about dogs says, "Hey, I've learned something new.
Mhm.
Here's what I would share now
Yep.
instead."
And if you do not learn anything new in 30 years, then something is wrong. Because I see quite a few of these things that I would say differently now because I have seen much more of it and I'm much more sure about what it really is. And it has to be like that. We are developing and we should develop. Anyone who's saying the same thing today as I did 30 years ago, I wouldn't trust for a second.
I've got a question here that says, so a tail wag is a desire to interact and it might be good and it might be bad. Is that what you think now?
No, it's not a desire to interact at all because I have no idea what they are doing. When stress goes up, for some reason, the tail is wagging, and it is not a desire for anything at all. It just happens, and the
Okay.
dog doesn't even know about it.
We have another comment that says, I agree. We are always growing, always learning. And another comment, Mallory said, I keep coming up with questions and then she starts answering them. So grateful for the wisdom from an amazing observer. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. We've only got a couple minutes left. So if you have a question for Turid, go ahead and drop it in the comments for us. I want to share another video from the DVD that is actually of some examples of dogs turning their heads away. So I'm going to share that now so we can kind of watch that together and observe it.
When your voice gets angry, when you bend towards or over him, when you go straight onto him, take a picture of him, or he will turn his head when he's meeting other dogs. There are many situations every day where you will see this calming signal. What I want you to look at is that it takes a little time. Like with the two Doberman pinchers, I mean, just look at them. They are standing there. They are thinking. They are taking the time to be polite to each other. So people, don't drag your dogs away from situations like that.
That's such great advice that it takes time. And this is, a theme of what we've been talking about is slow down. Slow down and
Yes.
observe and give the dog time to think and to
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Wonderful advice. We've got a couple of questions. I want to answer this one first. We've got a couple of people who unfortunately came in late. Will we have a replay available? Yes, this will be available as a replay just a few minutes once the live ends. It will be available on Facebook and also on YouTube. So you'll be able to watch the replay and also be able to share it with your friends. We have a couple more questions about dog tail wagging. Someone says, what about a dog whose tail is almost always wagging? And another person asked, the tail wagging is unintentional. Asked for some clarification about that. Could you answer those questions for us?
Yes, that is what we think, because they use it in all kinds of situations, whether they are feeling this or that or whatever. So it doesn't really mean anything. It's something that happens when the stress level goes up. Maybe in 5 to 10 years or so, maybe we find out something more about it. But as far as it is now, that is what I really, really believe in.
That's good. And then do you have any advice or any insight for a dog whose tail is almost always wagging? Would you say that dog is?
I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. You know something? I am a visual type. When I'm working with dogs, I observe them, I read them, and then usually I find out what things are about very confidently. But when people ask me questions like that, I feel, no, I have to see the dog. I have to see what this is about. I really can't answer it as a theoretical question because this is not theory. For
Yeah.
me, it's not. Hmm.
Well, since you're an observational learner, I actually found at the beginning of our presentation, we had some video clips where I kind of quizzed people and said, if you've read the book or if you haven't read the book, what do you observe in this dog? And I have one video clip that I want to share. It does not come from the DVD. It's just a video that I found online. It's like stock dog footage. I had about 15 videos prepared, but we don't have time for all of them. But there is so much going on in this video clip. And what we're going to do is we're going to observe it the first time. And then I want you guys to leave comments and tell us what you see as this video is playing. So yeah, a lot going on in that video, especially with that puppy giving some calming signals to this very rambunctious dog that's running around. So leave your comments and let us know what you see in this video, what calming signals you're observing, and then we'll see what Turid observes.
Well, what I can say straight away is how well it shows how much dogs dislike running and speed. They won't get out of there. Yeah. When my last dog, he was very, very good at this. When somebody was running like that, he would stand for a second or two looking at what they were doing, and then he would stop it. Because that is not the right thing to do when you want to communicate or interact with somebody.
The first thing I noticed was this puppy sniffing, and it looks like one of our viewers also noticed this, the puppy sniffing and a lip lick, a head dip, a blink, a turn away. The lying down was interesting to me when I watched this video.
Yeah. And lying down is probably the strongest of all the calming signals. That's what they do when they feel that now they must stop.
Yes, I have.
Lying down is definitely the strongest of all.
There's another video clip. Oh, it's pretty short, so I'll play it here. But there's these two dogs that are interacting on a beach, and they both lie down. And look how fast that de-escalates that situation. This is, again, when I'm looking for stock videos, a couple of years ago, I did a presentation and I did a search for happy dogs.
Yeah,
and
they are definitely they're doing too much of things and they feel uncomfortable. Both of them feel uncomfortable about it, so they lie down.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Once you can see these things, it's hard to unsee them.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's almost impossible. So start to observe people as much as you can, and maybe one day you feel the same as I feel when I see dogs like this. I know what it is about.
I want to share this slide as well that I have from the book, that you say one of the best ways to reduce stress is to be able to communicate with dogs. If you make yourself understood by dogs, it's a wonderful feeling for people and dogs alike. And the calming signals are the key to seeing through that open door. Has been like looking into a childhood dream of talking to animals. I think so many of us, especially dog professionals, as a kid, we wanted to be able to talk to animals, and having these calming signals, knowing what they mean and being able to observe them is so, so important. Go ahead. I'll let you speak to that.
It is fantastic when at our training center we get all kinds of dogs. They can be stressed, they can be nervous, they can be, they want even to bite us sometimes. And it always ends with the dog lying, sleeping on my feet. It's incredible, because if you feel how you should behave to a dog, and you do it the way a dog understands, he will feel trust in you. And that's a wonderful feeling.
It is a wonderful feeling. I want to thank you all for joining us today. I have a special coupon code for everyone who watched to the end to be able to save 20% on dogwise.com on talking terms with dogs. This is also applied to the ebook, the DVD, the streaming video. It is not applied to the audiobook, but it is applied to everything at dogwise.com. that is on Talking Terms with Dogs, Calming Signals, and like I said, the DVD and the streaming video as well. So if you want to watch that, I watched it yesterday while I was preparing for this interview. It's about 45 minutes long. It's great, great information. Turid, I want to say thank you. I know that there are so many people who have commented and tuned in and said that they've learned so much from you. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for being here. I want to close with this final slide, this wonderful quote from Turid from the book that I wanted to share with all of you, that says, "It takes so little to be friendly to a dog, and the result can be overwhelmingly huge. You always have the choice of being threatening or calming. To me, the choice is easy." Thank you so much, Turid, for joining us today.
And thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day. Thank you.